Every day you walk into rooms believing people are noticing your personality, your kindness, or your effort. But behind every handshake, every conversation, and every opportunity, something far colder is happening. You are being evaluated. Quietly, constantly, people are calculating your usefulness. They are measuring how much you matter and how easily your absence could be replaced. This is not cruelty. This is survival. The world has always worked this way. Machiavelli understood it centuries ago. Power does not protect those who try hard. Power protects those who are difficult to replace. And if you fail to increase your value, the world will quietly decrease it for you. Most men misunderstand value. They believe being loyal, friendly, and hardworking guarantees respect. These qualities may earn appreciation, but appreciation is fragile. It disappears the moment someone more useful appears. Respect, however, is built on necessity. When people need what you provide, they treat you differently. They listen more carefully. They hesitate before losing you. Your value is not measured by how good your intentions are. It is measured by how essential your contributions become. Look at any successful environment. The most respected person is rarely the most entertaining or the most social. It is usually the person who solves problems others cannot solve. That person becomes a pillar, and pillars are protected because removing them risks collapse. This is the first principle of increasing your value. Become a solution people depend on. The journey begins with honesty that most people avoid. You must examine yourself without comfort or excuses. Imagine you are observing yourself from the outside. Would your skills impress you? Would your discipline earn trust? Would your presence improve a team or slow it down? These questions are uncomfortable, but discomfort reveals truth. Without truth, improvement becomes impossible. Many people believe time automatically increases value. They think years alone create experience. But time only magnifies habits. If your habits are weak, time strengthens weakness. If your habits are sharp, time strengthens mastery. Two men can spend 5 years in the same profession, yet one becomes powerful while the other remains invisible. The difference is not time. The difference is deliberate growth. Value grows through skill that produces results. Knowledge alone is not enough. The modern world is filled with people who understand theories but cannot execute them. Execution separates observers from leaders. Machiavelli admired those who acted with courage, even under uncertainty, because action builds authority. People trust those who deliver outcomes, not those who discuss possibilities. To increase your value, identify one skill that directly improves your environment. Choose something that solves real problems. It could be communication that influences decisions. It could be technical ability that fixes complex systems. It could be strategic thinking that prevents costly mistakes. The specific skill matters less than its usefulness. Once chosen, commit to it with obsession. Mastery is never casual. It demands repetition long after motivation disappears. As your skill sharpens, something subtle changes. Confidence begins to replace hesitation. Your decisions become clearer. People sense this transformation before they consciously understand it. Humans are naturally drawn toward competence because it signals reliability. This attraction becomes your first layer of influence. You will not need to announce your growth. Your performance will speak loudly enough. However, skill alone does not create lasting value. Reliability multiplies it. Many talented individuals fail because they are inconsistent. They succeed brilliantly once but disappear when pressure returns. Inconsistency creates doubt, and doubt destroys trust faster than failure. When people know they can depend on you every time, your name begins to carry weight. Reliability transforms talent into reputation. Reliability demands emotional discipline. You must perform when you feel tired. You must perform when you feel unmotivated. You must perform even when recognition is absent. Average men allow emotions to control effort. Valuable men allow standards to control effort. They understand that reputation is built during moments when nobody is applauding. Every completed responsibility strengthens your position in silence. Another crucial factor in increasing value is presence. People judge quickly, often before understanding your full capability. The way you speak, move, and react under pressure communicates signals about your worth. Machiavelli warned that perception often outweighs reality. This truth remains powerful today. If you present yourself with uncertainty, people assume you lack competence. If you present yourself with calm control, people assume you possess hidden strength. Controlled communication strengthens presence. Speak clearly and with intention. Remove unnecessary explanations. Over-explaining often reveals insecurity. When your words become measured and purposeful, they gain psychological weight. Silence, when used correctly, increases this effect. Silence creates anticipation. It forces people to focus when you finally speak. Selective communication makes your voice more valuable. Increasing value also requires removing behaviors that quietly damage your reputation. Complaining is one of the most destructive. Complaints display helplessness. They show that you focus more on problems than solutions. Powerful individuals rarely complain publicly. They observe, adjust, and move forward. This does not mean ignoring difficulty. It means refusing to broadcast weakness that others may exploit. Overavailability is another hidden threat to your value. When you make yourself constantly accessible, your presence loses significance. Scarcity increases worth. When your time is limited and your attention is selective, people treat interactions with you more seriously. This does not mean isolating yourself. It means prioritizing carefully. Time is your most valuable resource because once it is spent, it cannot be recovered. Increasing your value is not a single transformation. It is a collection of strategic improvements happening simultaneously. Skill mastery strengthens your ability. Reliability strengthens your reputation. Controlled presence strengthens perception. Emotional discipline stabilizes performance. Together, these elements create a version of you that becomes increasingly difficult to replace. This transformation often creates discomfort. Growth separates you from familiar habits and environments. It forces you to confront weaknesses you once ignored. Many people retreat at this stage because comfort feels safer than progress. But discomfort is evidence of evolution. Pressure refines strength. Resistance sharpens discipline. Without these forces, improvement remains temporary. As your value rises, you will notice quiet changes in how others treat you. Conversations will carry more respect. Opportunities will appear without you chasing them. People will begin including you in decisions they once made without your input. These shifts do not happen because you demanded recognition. They happen because you became necessary. And necessity is the foundation of influence that cannot be easily challenged. Value grows quietly before it becomes visible. At first, your effort feels unnoticed. Your discipline feels invisible. You begin sharpening skills, controlling your behavior, and protecting your time, yet the world appears unchanged. This is the stage where most people quit. They mistake silence for failure. They assume their improvement is not working. But true value does not announce itself immediately. It builds beneath the surface like pressure inside the earth before a diamond forms. Those who understand power remain patient during this invisible phase. They continue sharpening themselves while others return to comfort. As your value increases, you must learn a law that many ambitious people ignore. Increasing value is not only about gaining skills. It is about controlling access to yourself. The moment you become slightly more capable, people begin to demand more of your time, your energy, and your attention. If you give everything freely, you destroy the very value you work to build. Scarcity protects worth. When something becomes too available, people stop respecting it. Machiavelli observed that leaders who gave too much too easily lost authority. The same principle governs your personal influence today. Most men fear saying no. They worry that refusal will damage relationships or close opportunities. But constant agreement creates the opposite effect. It teaches people that your boundaries do not exist. When boundaries disappear, respect disappears with them. Every time you accept responsibilities that do not align with your growth, you weaken your position. Strategic refusal is not arrogance. It is self-preservation. It signals that your time carries weight and your focus has direction. Learning to protect your time requires emotional control. Guilt will attempt to convince you to stay available. Fear will warn you that people may dislike your boundaries. But powerful individuals accept temporary discomfort in exchange for long-term authority. When you begin choosing carefully where your attention goes, people adjust their behavior toward you. They become more intentional. They become more respectful. Selective availability transforms ordinary presence into valued presence. Another silent multiplier of value is observation. Most people rush to speak, rush to react, and rush to prove themselves. In doing so, they reveal too much and learn too little. Strategic individuals reverse this pattern. They observe before acting. They study environments, personalities, and power dynamics before participating. Observation allows you to understand motivations that others hide behind words. It allows you to detect weakness, ambition, and opportunity long before they become obvious. Silence strengthens observation. When you speak less, you notice more. Conversations reveal patterns when you stop focusing on what you will say next. People often expose their insecurities, intentions, and strategies through small details in tone, body language, and timing. These details become powerful information. Information is leverage, and leverage quietly increases your value because it allows you to respond intelligently rather than emotionally. Emotional control becomes even more critical as your value grows. The higher you rise, the more you are tested. Some people will challenge you openly. Others will provoke you subtly. They will criticize your progress or question your confidence. These moments are traps disguised as conflicts. Emotional reactions provide opponents with control. The moment anger or defensiveness dictates your response, you surrender psychological power. Machiavelli believed that those who cannot govern themselves will always be governed by others. This truth applies directly to emotional discipline. Powerful individuals feel emotions but do not obey them blindly. They pause. They analyze. They respond with calculation rather than impulse. Calm responses confuse aggressors. Silence unsettles critics. Controlled behavior forces opponents to lose their strategic advantage. Increasing value also requires learning how to create impact without constant effort. Many people believe working harder automatically increases influence. But endless effort without strategy leads to exhaustion, not authority. Strategic individuals focus on actions that create maximum results with controlled energy. They identify tasks that produce the greatest impact and eliminate distractions that consume time without progress. This efficiency increases productivity while preserving mental strength. Your environment plays a critical role in this transformation. The people around you influence your habits, your expectations, and your standards. If you surround yourself with individuals who avoid discipline, your own discipline weakens. If you remain connected to people who discourage ambition, your progress slows. Strategic individuals evaluate relationships carefully. They do not maintain connections out of nostalgia or guilt. They maintain relationships that support growth and distance themselves from those that encourage stagnation. This does not mean abandoning loyalty or compassion. It means understanding that influence spreads through proximity. Ambitious environments accelerate development. Weak environments normalize mediocrity. The people you spend time with shape how you think, how you behave, and how far you believe you can go. Increasing your value sometimes requires distancing yourself from comfortable circles that limit your evolution. As your mindset strengthens, you will begin to notice another shift. You become less desperate for validation. Validation is addictive because it provides quick emotional satisfaction. But dependence on approval weakens authority. When your decisions rely on acceptance from others, your confidence becomes fragile. Powerful individuals replace validation with internal standards. They measure success by progress, discipline, and results rather than applause. Detachment from approval does not eliminate social awareness. It strengthens independence. When you no longer seek constant reassurance, your behavior becomes calmer and more controlled. People sense this independence. It signals confidence without arrogance. Confidence rooted in internal standards becomes extremely difficult to challenge because it does not rely on external opinion. As your value continues to increase, you must also develop adaptability. The modern world changes rapidly. Skills that create power today may become ordinary tomorrow. Strategic individuals constantly evaluate their relevance. They learn, upgrade, and evolve before change forces them to. Adaptability protects your position because it prevents stagnation. The moment you believe your current ability is enough, your decline quietly begins. Adaptability requires humility combined with ambition. Humility allows you to recognize areas needing improvement. Ambition provides the energy to improve them. Together, they create continuous evolution. Those who balance these traits remain valuable across changing environments while others become trapped by outdated confidence. You will eventually reach moments where your increased value creates tension in your surroundings. Some people will admire your progress. Others will resent it. This reaction is natural. Growth disrupts expectations. When someone improves, it forces others to confront their own stagnation. Strategic individuals do not waste energy fighting resentment. They focus on maintaining progress. Results eventually silence criticism more effectively than arguments ever could. At this stage, you begin understanding a deeper principle of power. Influence is not created by forcing others to respect you. Influence is created by making your absence costly. When your skills, discipline, and presence become essential, people adjust their behavior naturally. They cooperate more willingly. They listen more attentively. This transformation occurs quietly, but its effects are undeniable. As you continue strengthening your value, you will feel the internal shift from seeking opportunity to attracting it. Doors that once remained closed will begin to open. Conversations that once ignored your voice will begin to include it. These changes are not luck. They are consequences of deliberate development. Value creates gravity, and gravity pulls opportunity toward it without noise or announcement. As your value begins to attract attention, a new challenge quietly appears. Attention invites expectation. People begin to rely on you more. They begin to watch you more closely. Your words carry more weight, but so do your mistakes. Many individuals reach this stage and unknowingly sabotage themselves. They grow skilled and respected, but they remain emotionally exposed. And emotional exposure is the fastest way to lose power once it is gained. The higher your value rises, the more important emotional detachment becomes. Most people misunderstand detachment. They believe it means becoming cold or disconnected. True detachment is control. It is the ability to experience emotion without allowing emotion to control your decisions. When anger dictates your response, your opponent controls you. When fear dictates your choices, circumstances control you. When excitement makes you speak too quickly, you expose information that weakens your position. Machiavelli believed that power belongs to those who remain composed while others lose control. Emotional stability creates psychological dominance. When people cannot predict your reactions, they cannot manipulate your behavior. Unpredictability becomes a silent shield. It forces others to approach you carefully because they cannot calculate your weaknesses. Every environment will test your emotional discipline. Some tests arrive through criticism. Others arrive through praise. Criticism attempts to provoke insecurity. Praise attempts to inflate ego. Both can destroy judgment if left unchecked. Strategic individuals treat both reactions carefully. They examine criticism for useful truth without absorbing unnecessary negativity. They accept praise without allowing it to create arrogance. Balance protects clarity, and clarity protects authority. Another stage of increasing value requires mastering reputation. Reputation is influence that travels before you speak. It shapes how people perceive your ability before they witness it. Your reputation determines whether opportunities approach you or avoid you. It determines whether your presence commands respect or invites doubt. Machiavelli understood that perception often carries more immediate power than reality. People act based on what they believe about you, not always what is true. Reputation is built through consistency. One impressive action creates attention. Repeated impressive actions create trust. Trust multiplies influence over time. When your behavior aligns with your words repeatedly, your name becomes associated with reliability. This association becomes an invisible asset working on your behalf in rooms you have never entered. Protecting reputation requires discipline that extends beyond performance. It requires controlling how you behave during failure. Everyone experiences mistakes, but powerful individuals treat failure strategically. They take responsibility quickly. They correct errors efficiently. They avoid emotional excuses that damage credibility. The way you handle mistakes often influences reputation more strongly than the mistakes themselves. Associations also shape reputation. The people you are seen with influence how others evaluate you. Strategic individuals understand that proximity transfers perception. When you consistently associate with disciplined and capable individuals, their credibility strengthens yours. When you associate with reckless or unreliable individuals, their instability weakens your image. This is not about judging people harshly. It is about protecting the perception that supports your influence. Another advanced principle of increasing value involves learning when to reveal your strengths and when to conceal them. Many people display their abilities immediately to gain recognition, but instant exposure reduces strategic advantage. When others fully understand your capability, they begin preparing ways to compete with or counter it. Strategic individuals reveal strength gradually. They allow others to underestimate them until performance becomes undeniable. Surprise strengthens authority because it disrupts expectations. Concealment also protects long-term positioning. Sharing every plan invites interference. Announcing every ambition attracts unnecessary attention. Silence allows strategies to develop without resistance. When results appear unexpectedly, they create stronger impact and deeper respect. Controlled revelation transforms progress into influence. As your influence grows, you will face situations where others attempt to challenge your position. These challenges rarely appear as direct attacks. They appear as subtle competition, passive resistance, or attempts to test your confidence. Responding emotionally weakens authority. Responding strategically strengthens it. Strategic response does not always require confrontation. Sometimes ignoring minor challenges displays confidence. Sometimes calm correction reinforces boundaries. Choosing the correct response requires awareness and patience. Another critical stage in increasing value involves developing independence. Dependence creates vulnerability. When your identity relies entirely on one role, one income source, or one relationship, your power becomes fragile. Strategic individuals build multiple foundations. They expand skills, relationships, and opportunities simultaneously. This diversification protects stability. It ensures that losing one element does not collapse your entire position. Independence also strengthens negotiation power. When you possess alternatives, you speak with confidence. When you lack alternatives, desperation weakens your decisions. The ability to walk away from unfavorable situations is one of the strongest forms of influence. Machiavelli observed that leaders who feared loss often surrendered authority to preserve temporary comfort. Those who accepted risk often gained long-term control. Developing independence requires preparation. It requires saving resources, expanding skills, and building networks before crisis forces action. Preparation transforms uncertainty into opportunity. When others panic during change, prepared individuals move forward with clarity. This calm movement increases their perceived strength and value. As your value strengthens, your mindset toward success must also evolve. Many individuals chase recognition as proof of achievement. Recognition feels rewarding, but it can create distraction. Strategic individuals focus on sustainability. They measure success by longevity, stability, and continuous improvement rather than temporary applause. This perspective protects progress from ego-driven decisions. You will also begin noticing that increased value changes how others communicate with you. Conversations become more respectful. Requests become more thoughtful. Opportunities become more selective. These changes create responsibility. Influence attracts expectation. People begin to trust your judgment. Maintaining this trust requires continued discipline. Value must be maintained as carefully as it is built. At this stage, you begin to understand a deeper truth about power. Influence is not created by dominating others. It is created by mastering yourself so completely that others naturally adjust around you. Self-mastery radiates confidence, stability, and clarity. These traits create authority without force. They inspire cooperation without demand. As your transformation continues, your presence becomes more deliberate. You speak less but communicate more clearly. You react less but observe more carefully. You pursue fewer distractions but achieve stronger results. These quiet changes signal a shift from ambition to control. And control marks the beginning of true influence that cannot be easily taken away. At this stage, you are no longer building value blindly. You are shaping it deliberately. You understand that power is not accidental. It is constructed through repeated choices that most people avoid. Now the final transformation begins. This is where many rise in capability but fail in command. Because value alone is not enough. You must learn how to hold it without leaking it. The greatest threat to increased value is complacency. The moment you feel secure, decline begins. Power does not punish failure as harshly as it punishes stagnation. Machiavelli understood that those who held power had to defend it constantly, even in times of peace. The same law governs your life. You must treat your current level as temporary. Always, the moment you believe you have arrived, someone hungrier begins closing the distance. Maintenance of value requires ruthless consistency. The discipline that built your position must remain active after success appears. Many men relax once recognition arrives. They reduce effort. They indulge distractions. They assume respect is permanent. It never is. Respect is rented, not owned. And rent is due every day. Those who forget this are replaced quietly and without warning. Another essential principle at this stage is control of ego. Ego is the most expensive enemy of long-term power. It whispers that you are superior. It tempts you to overestimate your position. It encourages unnecessary conflict. Strategic individuals keep ego on a short leash. They let results speak. They avoid proving themselves to those who do not matter. Ego seeks attention. Power seeks control. As your value stabilizes, you must also learn when to disengage. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every disagreement requires a response. Walking away is not weakness. It is precision. Machiavelli warned against exhausting strength on minor conflicts while greater threats remained unaddressed. Choose your engagements carefully. Your silence can be more intimidating than your confrontation when used correctly. The ability to walk away strengthens leverage. When others sense that you do not depend on their approval, their behavior changes. Negotiations shift. Respect increases. Influence grows. Dependence creates submission. Independence creates authority. This is why building options throughout your life is critical. Multiple skills, multiple opportunities, multiple paths forward. Options remove desperation, and desperation is the enemy of power. Now comes the final refinement. Legacy thinking. Most people live reaction to reaction. Strategic individuals think in timelines. They ask what their actions today will produce 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Legacy thinking filters decisions. It removes impulsive choices. It sharpens priorities. When you act with long-term vision, short-term temptations lose their grip on you. Legacy is not fame. It is impact that outlives presence. It is being remembered for reliability, competence, and strength of character. Machiavellian philosophy does not reject morality. It rejects weakness disguised as morality. True strength protects what matters. It builds structures that endure pressure. Your value should create stability for yourself and influence for others, whether they recognize it or not. At this level, your behavior becomes quieter but more powerful. You speak less publicly and act more privately. You share fewer plans and deliver more results. You let others underestimate you while your position strengthens silently. This is the Renaissance mindset. Control through patience. Influence through precision. Power without unnecessary exposure. Understand this clearly. The world does not reward potential. It rewards proof. It does not celebrate intentions. It follows results. And results come only to those willing to choose discipline over comfort repeatedly. There will be days when motivation disappears. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Those days are tests. Passing them separates those who rise temporarily from those who remain powerful. You are no longer competing with others at this stage. You are competing with your former self. Every improvement raises the standard. Every discipline strengthens the structure. Every refusal protects your focus. This is how value compounds. Slowly, quietly, relentlessly. Now let this settle. You have learned how value is created, protected, and sustained. But knowledge alone changes nothing. Transformation begins only when action follows understanding. So here is your moment of decision. Starting tomorrow, raise one standard in your life. Just one. Sharpen one skill. Remove one distraction. Enforce one boundary. Control one emotional reaction. Small actions repeated daily will reshape your identity faster than dramatic promises ever will. Stop waiting for recognition. Stop hoping to be chosen. Make yourself unavoidable. Make your absence expensive. Make your presence meaningful. The world will not announce when it begins taking you seriously. It will simply change how it treats you. And when that happens, you will know you earned it. Now commit. If you are serious about increasing your value, prove it. Write this sentence somewhere. You will see it every day. I am becoming difficult to replace. Let it guide your decisions. Let it discipline your behavior. Let it remind you that power belongs to those who build themselves intentionally. If this message sharpened your thinking, act on it. Like this video so it reaches others who refuse mediocrity. Subscribe to this channel to continue strengthening your strategic mindset. Share this with one person who needs to hear it, and comment below with one habit you will eliminate starting today. This is not motivation. This is instruction, and what you do next will decide everything.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.